And we are live with the Pirate Broadcast, and it's daylight savings. So I hope that you are able to join us. And because Arizona time is still Arizona time, and I'm here in Arizona, and we have Matt in the room today. We're going to be talking a little bit about client fulfillment systems, being able to balance and juggle some of the activities around marketing and client fulfillment. It's like this never-ending balance. Matt, good morning, and how are you? Are you freezing? Or are you warm enough?
I've got a space heater in the studio here, so I'm doing okay. But yeah, it's a little cold outside for sure.
Well, it's funny that we have I think about March, and I think about, sometimes March can be very mild and sometimes it can be pretty wild. So thank you so much for the opportunity to catch up and be here, Matt, because
Thank
I
you.
know that, we're connected on LinkedIn and you're starting a course, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And I want to talk a little bit about, your journey on LinkedIn. But how did you get into this idea of systems and client acquisition? What's your fascination, and why are you looking at this, and how are you helping build this out
Great
right
question,
now?
Russ. For the past 5 years, I was doing videography in my local market for coaches, speakers, authors, and I just started to see like there was something missing in their business where, like just doing one-off videos here and there really wasn't getting the results either of us expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really was willing to start a business that didn't create some kind of impact, and it felt wrong. So at one point last year, I was like, I got to shut this thing down. And I actually turned off the public facing production services back in November, and I made a decision to get out from behind the camera, step in front of it, and start a YouTube channel. And it's been quite the journey already. There's been a lot of lessons learned, but the biggest thing was, how can I serve at a higher level for this audience? Because I believe that they're out there in the world doing this work that's making an impact. And if I'm able to help them reach more people or build more stability into their business, then we're both able to make a contribution to humanity. And I know sometimes that stuff sounds a little bit cliche, but it's important. And I was never, like I said, I was never really willing to start a business that didn't have some kind of an impact. And so that's what kind of led me to this journey, and working on a coaching program to help coaches build more stability into their businesses, I think is critical. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there, a lot of guys that are like, hey, I can help you scale your business up, when they don't really have the results. And
Yeah.
so that's what my YouTube channel has been all about, is like, I'm learning, this is the journey, I'm real about it, and I'm putting in the work, I'm taking my own advice.
Yeah.
And it's a learning process, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a learning process. And here, my philosophy is that, okay, done is better than perfect. And the more we can experiment with, our processes and our systems, and anything we can document, we can delegate for the most part.
Yeah.
And as long as we have an opportunity to assist and provide value in the world, that's an improvement process, in my mind and opinion.
For sure.
Although everything that we do may not necessarily provide the value that people are expecting. And so one of the challenges we have as creators, and you mentioned YouTube, and I'm on YouTube. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and LinkedIn. And to build a system like that is kind of cool. It may not be for everyone, right? And so what you have to do is kind of pick out what your purpose is going to be, and how you're going to create value into the world, and what people really want. And there's two sides. It's like, uh, ask what people want and then create it, or create something that you're solving your own problem with, which is kind of what it sounds like, is
Yep.
this is the problem you were solving. And because you solved it for yourself, you can then share it with other people. So walk us through. And videography is kind of challenging because you got the editing and, people expect this $20,000 editing project. And it's like,
For $100.
it's for $100. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
can't you just do that on your iPhone? It's
Yeah,
like,
and that's one of the reasons I saw this is like, for identity, I just started to feel like, oh, I'm just a videographer. That means I'm a commodity, and like literally people can film this stuff with their phones. And I was being this evangelist in the world, being shouting like, like everybody else that does video production is like, you need to be using this to grow your business. Why aren't you doing this? But I wasn't getting in front of the camera either. So it was a little hypocritical, and it created this incongruence for me that I had to address. And that's the big reason why stepping in front of the camera was, it takes courage too. And like what you mentioned earlier, Russ, about, finding the correct balance between this is my value, this is my purpose, but then also this is what the audience needs. And you have to find
yeah.
that right mixture, because it's not enough to just have lots of purpose and passion about what you want to do. You really do have to think with your audience in mind first, and serve them. So that's actually the thing that's got me through a lot of challenges so far, is just knowing that, even though I think I've got like 64 subscribers on YouTube right now, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm playing that long game, and it's really important, right?
Yeah.
And that even though you're talking into a camera lens, eventually your audience will find you.
Well, and that's the beauty of what we do in the online media. I started years ago with this concept called Future Media Association. And I filled a room one time, and people were thinking, okay, this is broadcasters, this is radio hosts, no, it's you. You are the media. You have the ability to launch a YouTube channel, pick up a phone, record some content, and start production. Words, images, audio, and video. There, blog posts out there. You can do video, you can do podcasting, you can do all of these things. And it still goes back to what you're producing, Matt, is the systems that allow you to not get overwhelmed by it. And so we're kind of parallel in that regard, because I enjoy creating systems, and I enjoy having a system in place and a workflow that, that's what allows me to do this every single day. Is
Yeah.
like, without it, I couldn't produce this kind of activity. And it's like, I just get up every day, and I get to hang out with some pirates and have some fun and start a good conversation and hang out with people like yourself. And so it's really gratifying to me, and it's a long game for me. So, YouTube, it'll pick up. There's people out there that you don't have to have a million viewers to be successful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a million viewers would be wonderful, and
Of course.
you keep at it, and it will go there.
Yeah.
So, what's your strategy for your program? What's your strategy for building these programs for your audience now? What's next steps from that?
Talking about workflow, I think is huge, and I'm in the midst of building the nuts and bolts of this. So I'll do my best to answer your question, but the Gary V approach of like omnipresence, how can you create content for multiple channels at the same time without going absolutely insane? And it seems like this daunting task to just start a YouTube channel alone, let alone find a way to repurpose that content. And so the goal right now is I'm integrating, my own workflow processes into the process of creating YouTube content. And very soon I'm going to start to release a lot of like how-to and tutorials about, how do you take that one piece of content and then leverage it, and what else can you do to improve your filming, your production, in a way where you're creating multiple types of content and it doesn't feel like you're just cross posting, because nobody wants to see, necessarily the exact same piece of content on all the platforms at the same time. So a lot of the streamlining process and the workflow is going to be in figuring it out for myself and then teaching it back. Here's how you can do this process, and from start to finish, from planning to filming to uploading that content, so that you're able to create content for multiple channels at the same time that doesn't feel like it's just duplicated.
Yeah. Well, and here I want to take a little bit of an issue with that, because Gary Vee started out and I think he had the 180 rule. I used to call it the traffic circle, where you would create one piece of content and you'd repurpose it over and over again. And the balance is, and I think it's a decision you have to make for yourself, because the balance is, okay, I can create micro content with multiple pieces of the same original content. We could say some really smart things, or you could say some really smart things, and I'll just listen. And we could actually take that out and put it somewhere else out in the world, whether it be on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or Reddit or wherever it happens to be. And we could place that, and we could create multiple pieces of micro content like that, specific, and upload it natively to each platform. And when I say that, it's like you create something and you load it specifically for that platform. And the balance is, okay, how much visibility can I grow versus how much time do I spend on it?
Yeah.
Because the people that hang out on Twitter all day may not be the same people that hang out on Facebook, right?
Yeah. I think you definitely have to kind of plant your flag in where your audience is.
Yeah.
And sometimes we make assumptions about where they are and we're wrong.
Yeah.
And you just have to be able to pivot. And I think the other thing is you can't just go and make, again, it has to be from the audience perspective, and the platform that they hang out on, the top 3, you have to cater to their needs. You need to address them where they're at. So you can't just make like one piece of content and then blast it out and hopefully, it resonates. I think you have to take a different approach for each platform, but your subject matter is your topics. And, if you can find a way to leverage that and also meet people where they're at, then I just feel like it doesn't have to be daunting.
No.
I'm close, but it's like I said, it's a learning process, right?
Well, I had Hanny Mora on a while ago, and he does repurpose.io. Repurpose.io is a tool you can use to repurpose a lot of content, and you just create these rules. It's a pretty amazing platform. It's primarily focused, well, I'm going to say for podcasters. However, it can be used beyond podcasting. So there are a lot of solutions out there. And I want to give a shout out to some of the people here that have joined us, because it's so amazing to see everyone here. And even though I know it's different time for you, Wendy, happy Monday, everyone. Gabriel, thank you so much for Frank being here. Jeff Young, hello, all my fellow pirates. Welcome to the Spring Forward New Time, my friend. Namaste. We're looking for you at this time now. Yes. So Arizona time is now on Pacific time, PST. Vicky O'Neill, good morning from Cincinnati, where it's getting warmer. Yay. Fantastic. Janisa, good morning. Russ and Matt. Vicky O'Neill, good morning. Gabriel, hello. Janisa, Sherry Lolly, Julio.
It's amazing. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah. I wanted to also thank you. I appreciate all the attending people that are in the room. And if you're watching the replay, we're talking about building systems out Matt is creating a course and he's got a YouTube channel going. And I applaud you, Matt, for getting started and doing a shift in your business. He's been doing video for a while, and now he's creating some courses around video. Are your courses specific to individuals that want to create video, or they're going to start creating video for their business or use video in their business?
That's a great question, and something I learned from Joe Paluzzi. I want to make sure I say his name right. He wrote a book called Epic Content Marketing, and mapping the content to the buyer's journey is a principle that I picked up from him. I think it was really interesting because, you've got your processes, you've got your systems, you've got your offers, and I think what's the thing that's really going to help a lot of people is finding a way to create content that addresses your audience at the stage that they're actually at. And there's definitely beginners out there. That's how my YouTube channel has started. Here's how to get started with video. Here's filming with your phone, personal branding, content strategy for beginners, people that are just starting out. When we're talking about client fulfillment systems, that's a coach who's been in business for a few years. They might have already made content, and their problem in their business is, I'm trading time for money. Like, I'm doing one-to-one fulfillment, and I don't necessarily have the time to consistently market myself and create content for an audience. So there's definitely different levels.
Well, and there's a lot of people coming back out from social media marketing world, and Social Media Examiner does a huge event every year down in San Diego. And one of the things that arrived from there, and I think it was just last week, actually, I think that the thing that was really exciting is the fact that it was video is so powerful. It's so incredibly powerful. And the reality is video is being used. Video is important for businesses going forward. Captioning video is important.
I'm a huge fan.
We don't really have an effective system that I've discovered to where I can caption video live.
Not fun.
So it's one of those things. So it's really an opportunity to take the video after the first pass going live. And going live is not for everyone. I understand. It's like, but I don't like a lot of edits. So it's like live works for me. It's like I could show up and talk to Matt on live, and it creates a piece of content. Yeah. And then I can take that and then I transcribe it and I create a post and I add, I take the audio out of that and I create a podcast. And so all of these little pieces of content add to the equation. What I notice also, though, by doing that, I think I'm being punished because my views are going down on LinkedIn compared to when I first started. My engagement is going up, and overall, my volume of content viewership across all platforms is increasing. So, like, it's the long game, and the diversity is really what really matters, I think, in terms of the growth. Because, I mean, maybe LinkedIn decides, hey, we don't want to do video anymore. Then all of a sudden, okay, what do I do now? That would be tragic.
I think there's a lot more people jumping in too. I'm scrolling through my feed on LinkedIn now, and like it seems like more than half the content is video. So it could.
However, they haven't allowed half the people on LinkedIn to have video, though.
Yeah,
but you can still create it and upload it, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's so my point is that video is here, video is happening, and if you would like to build your authority and your visibility online, would you agree that video is important, Matt?
I don't think you can ignore it.
Yeah. So get comfortable with the camera. Don't let the fear of the camera stop you.
Yeah. And I love talking about that because honestly, it's going to feel awkward in the beginning, looking into a camera lens, talking to as it doesn't necessarily become natural, but it gets easier over time. And I literally was practicing making content, and then I've just started, like, I'm never going to post some of the first stuff that I really did make because it was so terrible. But there's a lot of nuances that come with, presenting and communicating on video. And I think the coolest thing, the thing that is so exciting about doing the work and having the courage to step in front, is that there is a tremendous amount of skill and personal development that comes along with doing that you won't even ever expect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a completely different person than I was like 3 months ago, because there's just been a lot of learning and lessons, and ultimately our ability to communicate is directly related to our ability to create an impact, influence, and create an income for ourselves. And when you practice creating video content on a regular basis, like make it a habit, do it at least once a week, that kind of thing, then you just there's so much benefits to it that seem, a lot of people look at it when they haven't done it like, okay, I'm going to use this to grow my business. I'm not really quite sure how I'm going to do that yet. I know I need to niche down and focus on an audience, and like all this advice you keep hearing. But the thing that you might not realize is all of the personal development and growth that you're going to get as a result, and you'll become a better communicator, and that makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah. I love this, what Gabriel says. Yes, it does. But Matt, like Matt is saying, it does get comfortable after a while. So put yourself out there, make sure that you're doing this. And Gabriel is a perfect example of this. I had a conversation with Gabriel. What was it, Gabriel? A month ago or so? Maybe it's been longer than that. And we went through a process. We went through a conversation and talking about podcasting and some of the things. 'Cause I've been teaching podcasting for a while, and getting people out there and getting them comfortable with putting themselves out there. And it takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of courage. It's like, okay, just put yourself out there, and just realize that the first little while you're not going to be where you want to be. However, it's just like any instrument. You sit down at a piano, you're going to practice. First couple of songs are not going to be what you want. After a while, it'll improve.
Yeah.
And it'll improve to the degree that you want it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find the groove that works for you. Some people are writing, some people create images, some people want video, some people are, better on audio and they're comfortable with podcasting. Pick a niche that you want to share your gift, your message, your voice. And just improve that craft and get better at it. It doesn't take a lot of effort these days to create and post and put it out there. It's not like it used to be. So I love this. And in fact, I'm doing a very similar thing. Over the weekend I launched, I put up I'm going to be doing some webinars because I want to get better at producing webinars that I can create content in live and then share it out again. And I want the community interaction. I want to be able to put this interaction in. So I'm going to create one. I got 3 scheduled this week that I'm going to be sharing how to use video to build relationships. And I'm going to use some tools that I use in producing this show, because I'm booked up through March. I'm already booking April, and 5 days a week. That's conversations that I'm having every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a process that I use for that. So I want to share that process. And so that's one thing. And then I'll do a workshop later in the month. I think on the 19th, I'm going to be doing a workshop.
Cool.
And it's going to walk you through some of the steps and the processes too. So I'd love to compare notes with you, Matt, when you get this, and let's work together on some collaboration stuff. So
yeah, I think the real genius behind all of this is you're building a community, and I can see the engagement. I didn't know we were going live on multiple platforms, to be honest with you. It's so cool, man. And communities really, I think a lot of people, they need that support. I was that solopreneur for a long time, like trying to figure it all out by myself. And it's when you have that support system, and you've got people that are out there sharing your message for you and helping you, and you're able to support them, it's a win-win. Like we definitely need to be making more communities like that. So I think this is really cool. I mean, Piratebroadcast, I wasn't quite sure in the beginning, right? I was like, I'm not really sure what this is about, Russ. What's your audience all about? But then you're like, hey man, smiles are free, and did I say it right?
Kindness is cool.
Yeah.
Kindness is cool.
That's awesome.
And so there's a Pirate Broadcast page on Facebook. You can go, and now that you're a pirate, there's a private group. You can go apply for the pirate group. And the whole point is we all have an opportunity to help each other out. There's no reason why you can't add a little value to the planet here. We're all singing around on the same sunshine and playing out in the same oxygen, right?
Yeah.
And let's help each other out. And a little kindness and gratitude in the world is not going to hurt anything. So, that's really the message that I'm growing. And the whole point of interesting people doing interesting things. I've always been fascinated by what people do. It's like, well, what brought you here? Why are you here, Matt? It's like you came to LinkedIn. We connected on LinkedIn. However, you also have a YouTube channel, right? And it's like, okay, what's Matt doing? Where is he hanging out? So what else do you have going on? Where are you hanging out? Are you on Facebook? Are you on
I mentioned in the beginning, like I'm looking for these purpose-driven coaches that are, building an online business so I can help reach more people, all this stuff. And I was thinking, okay, LinkedIn. But it turns out there's a lot more activity and engagement happening on Facebook. And so that's where I've kind of shifted my focus. And so it's like weekly release, one video. What's actually kind of fun? I started doing this where I come up with an idea for the video that's going to happen next week. And then I'll shoot a quick like teaser, like information, and just kind of checking to see where people are at. Like, is this interesting to you? And then I release that video on the other platforms. But the intention is really to build that subscriber base on YouTube. So that's sort of the primary. You just don't get the same kind of engagement there, though. So if you're talking about like hanging out and building community and engaging and having conversations with people, Facebook is still pretty important. There's a lot of really engaged, active groups on there, and you can find your audience on there and have conversations with people and add value to people.
Yeah. It's amazing how the different platforms have evolved and continue to evolve. And I like LinkedIn. And I was really big on Facebook earlier. And I still have a presence on Twitter and Instagram as well. I haven't posted on Instagram. I think I'm going to fire up my 2-minute tips again on Instagram stories. Maybe IGTV. I don't know. And I still would love to grow my YouTube channel, and I just need to go through and revamp it all. I probably need to, because I have, I don't know, 300-400 videos over there. So I have content on YouTube. So it's like, might want to use it.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube's really a game of like, in the beginning for me, it was like, oh man, I got to find the right keywords, and then I got to make videos that fit that. And otherwise no one's going to really find you. But then the truth is you have to find your balance. Like you still need to make content that you enjoy if you can, and find a way to make create value in that, and don't just focus on that keyword game, because that'll burn you out so fast. I was just like, oh, I don't know what videos to make that people are actually looking for. And it's like you get this constraint on there. And that's one thing that's kind of cool about the other platforms is, if you've got a thought or idea and you just want to share it, you can shoot a quick video and upload it.
Yeah.
And there's, I know we're doing live right now, but in the beginning, I tried to freestyle and just like get on the camera and talk, and that didn't work for me in the beginning. So I had to go to scripting first,
Uh-huh.
and then editing based on scripting, and then
Mm-hmm.
move to bullet points. And now I'm able to do more like freestyle and come up with ideas and share thoughts
Yeah.
without trailing off too far. But it's a progression, right?
That's so funny. Well, you know, we have Rob Balaceris coming up. He's from TubeBuddy. He actually represents TubeBuddy now.
That's awesome.
And so Rob's an advocate for, you know, understanding YouTube. And so I'm excited to get him on the program. And you know, it's one of those things that we can actually continue to learn. And as these platforms evolve and change and move from point to point, they're going to change out, and we're going to be doing something else a year from now. And
Yeah.
I mean, creating content for me is like breathing, you know. I just want to create it. I just want to continue to create and put it out there. So,
I love what you said about learning.
yeah, learning something, testing it out, and
I've got a favorite quote, if you don't mind if I share it.
yeah, share it.
It's by Eric Hoffer. The learners shall inherit the earth, while the learned shall be beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. After I read that, something just clicked, man, and I just became so dedicated to learning, reading, taking courses online, creating content, and you have to evolve. You can't, like, as soon as you figure one of these platforms out, something's going to change, and so you have to have that mindset of always be learning.
Always be learning. Well, thank you, Matt, and as always, kindness is cool, smiles are free, and you enjoy the day.
Thanks, Russ. Thank you, everyone.